What's good, everybody? Thanks for clicking this video. Thanks for tuning in. This is Simon Hill, Black American from Monroe, Louisiana, out here in Budapest, Hungary. Just chilling with y'all after a long day at work. Knocked out a few things. Started working out this year, trying to get my body right. Did a lot of push ups, chest sore. I'm trying to get the body right for 2024 and young, fresh, fly, sexy, healthy, all that good stuff. Want to shout out all the new subscribers. Got a lot of new subs over the past week. Hope to keep y'all around. Keep on delivering good content for this year. Got a lot planned for this year just to keep on grinding hard. Anything is possible and that sort of stuff. And it seems like we're starting 2024 off with a bang already, literally a bang. And I turned on the news, turned on the New York Times, came to the website and saw that planes are crashing, earthquakes are happening, politicians are getting poked up. It's a mess right now. So I just picked out a few headlines I thought were interesting from the New York Times. Gonna just chill in this live stream, read through some of these articles that I didn't want to chop up into different videos and just do them all in one take, give my opinion about these stories. All this is under fair use. Don't nobody give me copyright strikes. Can't give me copyright strikes just for reading, right? Just for reading the stories. So let's get into it. This is the first one that we're going to be looking at today. A miracle. Plane erupts in flames, landing in Tokyo, but all aboard survive. That's a miracle right there. Like when a plane crashes, I'm surprised that anybody ever makes it out. This is why I fall asleep every time they do the safety checks. Whenever they try to tell us, oh, the mask drops down, there's an inflatable under your seat. I don't even care. I'm like, I'm ready to go if the plane drops. I piss myself a little bit every time there's turbulence. So whatever. Anyway, let's go here. Pardon. Japan Airlines said all 367 passengers and 12 crew members had safely evacuated the jet, but 5 crew members on a Japanese Coast Guard plane that collided with it were killed. See, that's the crazy part. Imagine you're on the ground, minding your own business, doing your job, waiting for the planes to come to do the little cone things. Then the plane crashes on you, and everybody in the plane survives, but you lost your life. That's tragic. I'm not going to be playing any videos, of course. Don't want copyright strikes, but still, this is amazing that people were able to make it out of this. That's the crazy part. How do you survive this? What's the way you get out of this? That's insane. So a fire engulfed a Japan Airlines plane after it collided with a Japan Coast Guard aircraft while landing at a Haneda airport in Tokyo. Really looking forward to visiting Japan one day. There's a great YouTube channel called Black Experience Japan that's been putting in work for many, many years. So y'all go sub them, check them out. They do interviews with Black people who have lived in Japan for many years, people who are half Black and half Japanese who grew up in Japan. Very dope channel. So check them out as well. And glad to know that people made it out, but it's kind of ironic and very unfortunate that the people on the ground. The story. So let's read the story and then let's start coughing and sneezing. I got to stop smoking in 2024 too. That's what I'm also going to do. Anyway, as a flight attendants yelled, urging passengers to evacuate, an eerie orange glow burned outside the windows of Japan Airlines Flight 516. The harrowing scene was caught on video from inside the plane, which collided with the Japanese Coast Guard aircraft as it was landing on Tuesday in Tokyo. Through skill and luck, one aviation expert called it a miraculous job. The flight crew of the Japan Airlines plane evacuated all 367 passengers and 12 crew members safely at Haneda Airport near Tokyo Bay, according to Japan's Transport Minister Tetsuo Saito. See, this is more amazing than what Sully did. Y'all remember Sully, the airplane pilot who landed a plane in New York Bay? Like he turned the plane upside down and like made it land and everybody got out safely. That's more amazing than that. Shout out to Sully, but I'm sure he's like kicking himself like, damn, I couldn't even do that. How do you make people survive when it lands on the tarmac? I don't know. But 5 Coast Guard members who had been headed to help with the earthquake relief in Western Japan were killed, Prime Minister Fumio Kishida said during a news conference. NHK public broadcaster later said 14 people have been injured on the passenger plane. NHK is Japanese? I thought NHK was Taiwanese. Sometimes I watch that news source, like sometimes if I'm in a hotel and NHK is like the only English channel that they have abroad, I'll check out NHK. I did not know that they were Japanese. Once again, very sad that the Coast Guard members died, but they who had been headed to help were killed. Okay, so to help with the earthquake relief. Okay, so the Coast Guard members were going to help with the earthquake. They weren't going to help with plane. Okay, I see. Okay. Or were the Coast Guard members on the plane? I need to read this to find out. So the root cause of this accident is not known yet, Mr. Saito said at a news briefing, adding that the country's Transport Safety Board and other agencies would work to determine what had happened. Video aired by NHK shows a fireball streaking across the tarmac as the plane touched down. As frightening as that looked from outside the plane, it was even scarier inside, said Anton Daibe, a 17-year-old Swede who was on the plane with his family, as quoted in the Swedish newspaper Aftonbladet. He told the newspaper that his family did not understand exactly what was happening or the announcements, which he said were in Japanese. You would think a Japanese plane would also have like English, announcements or something like that. A lot of these airlines, when I fly on them and they're foreign, sometimes they'll have the announcements in their own language, like in Serbian, Hungarian, Turkish, or whatever. Then they'll also do it in English or something like that, or at least a second language. People got to understand, if you don't speak English in this world, nobody knows what you're talking about. That's why you got to take English classes. Anyway. His father, Jonas, told the newspaper the entire cabin was filled with smoke within a few minutes, adding, "We threw ourselves down on the floor. Then the emergency doors were opened and we threw ourselves at them. The smoke in the cabin stung like hell," Anton told Aftonbladet. He said that once they got out of the plane, he and his family had run out onto the field. "It was chaotic," he added. "We are all completely in shock," he said. "I don't think we understood what had happened." The family later said they were doing well. The Kyoto News Agency of Japan quoted a passenger who described feeling as if the plane had hit something before it, then jerked upward. The passenger, who was not identified, then told of seeing sparks outside the window and the cabin filling with smoke. Japan Airlines said that the plane had left New Chito Airport in the northern prefecture of Hokkaido at 4:15 p.m. and was scheduled to land at Haneda at 5:35 p.m., but landed at 5:47. Okay. Oh, of course they landed late. They were tumbling down to the earth. Yeah, a Coast Guard official said the Coast Guard aircraft had started taxiing to the runway around 4:45 p.m., about an hour before the collision. Okay, I get it now. So there was like a Coast Guard aircraft that was leaving to go help people with the earthquake, and then this plane is crashing and lands into the Coast Guard airplane. So that causes, both things to collide and have problems. I see. All right, it all makes sense now. All right, the airline said in a statement that the two planes collided and that both aircraft caught fire. That's horrible. That's absolutely horrible. You're going to help people in a tragedy, then another tragedy happens. So the Haneda Airport, both planes collide right here. 2024 is starting off with a bang. This is sad. All right. The airline added that according to interviews with the operating crew, the pilots acknowledged and repeated the landing permission from air traffic control and then proceeded with the approach. In its statement, Japan Airlines said that the cause of the accident was still under investigation and that it was cooperating with officials. Live footage after 6 p.m. showed firefighters trying to douse flames pouring out of the aircraft, an Airbus A350 900. Video showed the passengers using the evacuation slides to exit. According to Japan Airlines, the aircraft's announcement system malfunctioned during the evacuation, so the crew used a megaphone and their voices. The Coast Guard plane involved the collision was a fixed wing MA 722, according to Naoko Kabayashi, a Coast Guard representative. Japan Airlines drew praise for being able to safely evacuate 367 passengers under what was likely to have been enormous pressure. Footage of the accident showed flames coming out of the windows of the collapsed plane, making it seem impossible that everyone made it out safe. I wish I could play the video. I didn't see the video before turning on this stream because I really don't want to. I don't want to see a tragedy like this. Why am I saying I don't want to see tragedy like this when all I do is watch chaotic? I watch Chaotic at least 4 or 5 hours a day. So of course I love tragedy. But I didn't see this on Chaotic, so I didn't even click it. I didn't even check for it. But regardless, it's amazing people are able to make it out of a crashing plane. Absolutely amazing. So, Ed Galea, a professor and director of the Fire Safety Engineering Group at the University of Greenwich in Britain, called the Japan Airlines 350 evacuation a miraculous job. Hopefully, if I'm ever on a plane, the people who are on this Japanese plane trained the people who will be on the plane that I'll be on that crashes, which I hope never happens. I hope that doesn't happen. So when the plane came to a stop, the nose gear collapsed, pitching the aircraft nose down with its tail up. Mr. Galea said in an interview that the footage showed passengers were evacuated from two of the exits at the front of the plane and one exit at the back. Some of the passengers essentially had to climb a hill in smoke, he said. A cabin crew stood at the back waving a torch, urging them to come forward. Maggie Kawasaki, a Japan Airlines spokeswoman, said in an email that because of the fire, only 3 doors were used for the evacuation. Japan Airlines crew are trained to evacuate all passengers within 90 seconds. Ms. Kawasaki said the crew was able to confirm that all passengers had evacuated by 6:05 p.m. She added, "Wow, this is terrible. Imagine being on a plane and then you see this. Like you're in a nap, you're dozing off, you're in La La Land, you just got through watching some horrible movie. You're watching like I don't know, Miss Marvel. What is it, Captain Marvel 2?" In the headrest. You wake up and it looks like the apocalypse is happening in the cockpit. Jesus Christ, everybody's hiding, getting down. When Japanese people get scared, I wonder what God do they pray to? Because you know, if you're in a plane full of Americans, they're screaming, Jesus, Jesus save us. What do the Japanese scream? I know a lot of them are Shinto or Buddhist or something like that, I think. It's surprised. I would like to know who are they calling for to save them at this moment. So a still image from a video posted on social media of passengers in a smoke-filled cabin aboard the Japan Airlines plane before they were evacuated. Trisha Ferguson, the chief executive of the Interaction Group, a company that designs air otherwise been a deadly accident, demonstrated a successful cooperation between passengers and staff. The crew was spectacular in their reaction times, said Miss Ferguson, who is an aviation industry expert with 28 years of involvement in passenger safety education. What they did was amazing, she added. See, they couldn't do this full of Americans because Americans, number one, there's probably one Karen on that plane, so she's going to be fighting people to get in front of the line. Then you have a bunch of other people who just don't care about the other person on the plane. So we're going to be fighting, pushing. I'm sure the Japanese were very orderly. They followed the instructions to the T on what the professionals were telling them to do. You couldn't do this with a bunch of Americans who are like, God damn it, it's my right to get out of here first. I mean, I paid first class to get to Detroit from Atlanta. You get what I'm saying? Uh, the shout out to Japan. Shout out to Japan because this could not be done in America. If this plane crash happened in America, number one, the plane would go down because everybody was fat in the plane. Like I'm surprised. I'm so happy for Japan. Shout out to Japan. Y'all are really dope. I got to go to Japan one day. I got to learn that. I got to learn the skills that allow you to evacuate a burning airplane where everybody gets off alive. Shout out to Japan. Anyway, as part of safety testing of new airplanes, airlines must demonstrate that all passengers can be evacuated in 90 seconds. In the 1970s and 80s, emergency training was mainly focused on the crew, Miss Ferguson said, but in the 1990s and 2000s, new emphasis was placed on educating passengers how to react in emergencies. In this case, passengers could see the smoke, giving them incentive to move faster and leave behind their luggage. When passengers stopped to make their luggage during When passengers stop to take their luggage during an evacuation, the process is slowed, Ms. Ferguson said. Oh, wow. This is absolutely wrecked. If you were stuck on that, you are not going to make it out. But they followed the instructions. They saw the smoke. They stood in line. They got an order out. Shout out to them. Cheers to Japan. Mm. All right, let's go. So it really is a miracle, she said, that they got everyone out. Video showed the top of the plane had been completely burnt off. NHK reported later Tuesday that about 100 flights were canceled because of the crash. Alex Macheres, an aviation analyst, told the BBC that Japan Airlines is known in the industry for being a leader in safety. I'm definitely flying Japan Air in the future. You know, I flew Malaysian Air like 2 or 3 times, and that was one of the scariest things I ever did, because you know all those stories about those Malaysian Airlines planes that go missing, crash in the ocean, that sort of stuff. At least a few years ago, that happened quite often. Japan Airlines, I think this is the first time I've ever heard about a crash. Two airlines scare me in the world: Ethiopian Airlines, and because Ethiopian Airlines tore up my bag, and I made that video on my channel that kind of went viral, got a few thousand views and stuff. And I'm pretty sure if I go on Ethiopian Airlines and they see my name or my ID or my face, something like that, they're gonna arrest me. I'm gonna be locked up in Addis Ababa. I'm gonna be banged up abroad. If you've seen that show. And yeah, Malaysian Airlines scare me, and Spirit too, because I saw a video of people flying on Spirit, and there was a bat in the lobby in the cockpit. What is that? What is that, man? Flying somewhere, and then a bat is flapping around. Man, how am I gonna watch Avengers 2? Anyway, Alex Macheris, an aviation analyst, told the BBC that Japan Airlines is known in the industry for being a leader in safety. Yoshio Seguchi, deputy director of the Japan Coast Guard, apologized for the crash but also offered few details about the cause of the accident. Mr. Kishida said of the Coast Guard crew, "They were filled with a determined sense of mission, and it is extremely regrettable and distressing what has happened to them." And he expressed his profound condolences to their surviving families. This was written by Christina Anderson. Very cool article. Nice to hear a story in 2024 where people, surviving so far, because we have war, death, destruction. I hope 2024 is more peaceful. Of course, Ukraine is still going on. Israel, Palestine is still going on. Myanmar is still going on. Sudan is still going on. Ethiopia is still going on. Congo is still going on. So we have a lot of conflict in the world, but I hope we can have some peace this year. Hopefully, everybody can make it out of the fire like the Japanese on this airplane. But yeah, let's go to the next story here. So this is one that I thought was very interesting. So university chancellor fired after making corn videos with his wife. See, okay, all right. I know I keep teasing y'all, but me and Acti are gonna start our OnlyFans very soon. I know I keep teasing y'all about it. We're gonna start it the same way we did our podcast on X. We're just gonna drop it out of nowhere. So be prepared. Any day now, you're gonna see a lot of skin slapping, a lot of booty clapping. Yeah, you're gonna see it on OnlyFans. No, no, no. But seriously, as an educator, but also somebody like who values free speech, I find this story crazy. So I have to admit, I saw the video. I saw the video of these two here getting their grind on, and it was gross, but it wasn't something just graphic. When they, say in title here of this story, the University of Wisconsin system's top official said she was disgusted by the chancellor's actions. The chancellor says he was exercising his right to free speech. It wasn't a disgusting video. They weren't DPing. There was no like fisting. There was no extreme foot play. It was like real vanilla sex. Okay. It wasn't nothing nasty. It wasn't nothing that you would see on inhumanity.com. It's not something that you would see in the darkest corners of the hub. It's like very vanilla. Like these people, it was very high quality too, I have to say. I watched the this is sick. This is sick. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but the video was high quality. It was like, how can I say, Vixen level, Blacked level, Evil Angel level production. I sound so bad knowing all these production companies, but still, it was actually very good quality. It was like red camera level. They had the same editors that did Pixar movies. They had the same editors from Miramax on their joint, man. For real, for real. All right, but the video is nothing insane, and I think they're a married couple. Let's read the article. I'll just give the take here. So Carmen Wilson left and her husband Joe Gao in 2018. Both were fired by the University of Wisconsin lacrosse this week after posting pornographic videos of themselves, not of anybody else, not of minors, not of animals, nothing crazy. It's just two married people doing the nasty, doing the two back to beast, doing a home conjugal visit. They were getting their grind on. but it's not that bad. So this was published on December 28th, 2023. Getting fired right before Christmas for having sex with your wife. Imagine what Christmas is like. No, sorry, this is after Christmas. This was after Christmas, but they probably got fired before Christmas. Either way, around Christmas time. Let's go into the article. The chancellor of a state university in Wisconsin was fired this week after posting pornographic videos with his wife online. The University of Wisconsin System's Board of Regents unanimously decided to dismiss the chancellor, Joe Gao, who had led the University of Wisconsin lacrosse since 2007 and was its longest tenured leader since the 1960s. Carmen Wilson, Miss Gao's wife, was also removed from her unpaid position as associate to the chancellor. Okay, so I spoke about this in a video I did about OnlyFans and SEX. Basically, a lot of teachers are going into SEX work because the salaries are hella low, especially for women, right? And this is a man. And that's why I think the punishment was so severe for this man, too, because he's a chancellor at a university, probably makes very good money, has tenure, pension, stuff like that. So he decides he's just going to maybe do some dabbling on the side because he's an exhibitionist. Probably didn't do it for the money, probably just did it just because he's freaky like that. He nasty like that. He decides he's going to make pornographic videos with his wife. Okay, and that's why I think maybe the university went hard on him because men are only supposed to resort to pornography and that sort of acting when we're absolutely very desperate, right? I mean, when we look at corn stars and what they do, like, you know, usually we assume that these guys have no other options. They got felonies, they're criminals or stuff like that, or they're not that smart. They can't do anything else with their minds, so they have to resort to using their bodies because that's how we typecast sex workers who are female, right? So I think they went really hard on this guy because number one, he's a white man, right? And he's like, with all the white privilege you have, with all the opportunities we've given you, you decide to slum it up and be a corn star with your wife on OnlyFans. You get what I'm saying? So I think that's why they went really severe on him to fire him for doing something consensual with his wife in the privacy of his own home that he just so happens decides to broadcast to the world because he's freaky like that. I don't think that's cool. I don't think that's fair. America is hella puritanical. I don't know if this would happen in other countries, so I would want to know what people think in the chat or what people think in the comment section if this would happen in like a European nation. I can't imagine like a German professor or a lacrosse coach. He's just a sports coach, guys. Like, come on, man. This is not your role model, man. This is not some guy you really, look up to. Your lacrosse coach. And let's keep it real. If you're playing on the lacrosse team, that's like an upper echelon type of sport. You done way worse than have you done way worse. Like I'm sure the guys on the lacrosse team, be powdering their nose. They be getting wasted on the weekends. They be getting blackout drunk. Some of them might be banging new girls every single day in the dorms. I mean, the lacrosse guys usually, they bad boys. They bad upper middle class. They're bad upper echelon white boys who have the world at their fingertips. And the worst thing that they've seen is not their lacrosse coach getting it on with his below average wife. I'm sorry. I find this story hilarious. We might spend like a whole 4 hours just roasting this story. I'm sorry. I'm just chilling on live, man. I'm chilling on live, chopping it up. Let's get into the story. Okay, I'm so sorry for getting off track. Let's go. So, the University of Wisconsin's Board of Regents unanimously decided to dismiss the chancellor, Joe Gao, who had led the University of Wisconsin lacrosse since 2007 and was its longest, not largest. We saw the video. He's not the largest. Longest tenured leader since the 1960s. Carmen Wilson, Mr. Gao's wife, was also removed from her unpaid position as associate to the chancellor. Karen Walsh, the head of the board, which oversees the system's 13 universities, said in a statement that the board was alarmed and disgusted by his actions without specifying what they were. Okay, show the video. Just let the video play. And you're only disgusted because like it's the oldest and flabbiest of skin, the baggiest of bags. fat and hair in places you didn't want to see. It's kind of nasty, man. It's a nasty. It. She was disgusted by the video because nobody willingly wants to watch gilfs get it on. Nobody is into that category. You got to be a real freaky boy to be looking for gilfs on the hub. So that's why she was disgusted. I was alarmed and disgusted by his actions. How dare you go outside like this? How dare you put this on the internet? You're going to break the servers. I'm continuing here. In an interview on Thursday, Mr. Gao and Miss Wilson said they believe they were fired over the videos, which include sex scenes together and with others under the username Sexy Happy Couple. Both said they felt it was wrong for the university to punish them over the videos, arguing that doing so infringes on their free speech rights. You have to be very scared whenever white men start talking about their freedoms, their freedom of speech, their freedom to have the gun. You should be very scared when a white man, who especially looks like this, who worked at a university on the lacrosse team, he is lawyered up, buddy. That guy is on retention. He is still calling his lawyers pager, and his lawyer will answer because I'm pretty sure this guy pays for this guy to still keep a pager. You get what I'm saying? Like when white men start talking about their freedoms are in trouble, you know you're about to get lawyered up. You know you're about to be in court. This will probably get dragged to the Supreme Court, and Clarence Thomas will have to give his opinion, and he's gonna drop pubic hair on his wife's Coca-Cola can. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, but just be very afraid. Just be very afraid. They're infringing on my freedom of expression. You should be very afraid. Uh, so it's not what we're about in higher ed to censor people, Miss Wilson said. She added that the videos are only available to those who are looking for such content. If they seek it out, they're free to do so, she said. And I imagine, if you're in a university, anybody who could possibly see it at the school is already a legal adult and they have the legal right to look at pornography. So, what's the issue? What's the issue here? I guess it's the Puritanism of America. We have to protect the sanctity and dignity of our institution. So, we will not allow corn stars to be on our campus, but we will willingly, happily stay in this campus that was built from the blood money of slavery. Okay, all right. Mr. Gao, 63, said he and his wife, 56, have made videos together for years, but had decided recently to make them publicly available on corn websites and had been pleased by the response. They said they never mentioned the university or their jobs in the videos, several of which have racked up hundreds of thousands of views. The couple also has made a series of videos in which they cook meals with porn actors and then have sex. This is very strange. This is very strange. I would not want to watch that. I don't want to see my favorite corn stars boiling their favorite brand of Oscar Mayer hot dogs. You know that's what a lot of these people eat. Do you really think a Bella Danger can cook? Would you really eat Riley Reed's food? No, you would not. No, I would not. I would not eat Riley Reed's semi-hard spaghetti and like ketchup based spaghetti bolognese. No, 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 no. Nobody wants to eat that. I don't want to see that. Let's go gonzo. Let's get it on. Let's get it on like Donkey Kong. I'm tripping right now. Nobody wants to see that, but now it makes sense because if they're hanging out with other corn stars, that explains why they got the high def cameras and the and the transitions between scenes with fade ins and outs. You got to see the video, man. It's not hard to find, but it's kind of gross. You'll want to burn your computer after that. Anyway, we have that show, Sexy Healthy Cooking, where we interview performers and we really humanize them in ways that you wouldn't get in their other work, Mr. Gao said. It's an interesting process, and the people that we work with are completely professional and are very great to work with. Jay Rothman, the president of the University of Wisconsin system, said Mr. Gao had caused the university significant reputational harm. Mr. Rothman said that the current plan was for Mr. Gao, who is also a tenured professor of communication, to return to his faculty role following a paid administrative leave. But Mr. Rothman said that he had asked the university to review Mr. Gao's tenured status and for a law firm to investigate the matter. Mr. Gao said the university is not following their own policy on academic freedom and freedom of speech, adding, they also don't seem to realize that the First Amendment would be critical in this situation. Yeah, okay. I think in this case, uh, not only are the gals morally right, to do what they want to do as a married couple legally in their own home, putting out whatever perception they want, they're probably gonna win that court case too, unless the university has some clause in the contract about morality, or the university reserves the right to end termination to terminate the contract or employment based on anything that could change the school's reputation or harm the school's reputation, and stuff like that, which is which is very real in contracts. But if he didn't mention the school, if he wasn't wearing any school regalia, if the only way you would know he worked at the school is if you would like stalk this man online or go to the school yourself and expose yourself as the nasty MF who's watching gilf corn, uh, what how is he causing negative damage to the school? And even worse, what's negative about sleeping with your wife? What's negative about enjoying your wife? What's negative about having sex with your significant other? Even if it's on camera, who cares? um, I don't see how the school has any basis to fire this man if he was doing this all off campus in his own personal time. Anyway, Mr. Rothman said it was ridiculous for Mr. Gao to argue that the First Amendment gave him a free pass to say or do anything that he pleases. We expect our chancellors, as the leaders of these great institutions, to be role models for our students, staff, and faculty, as well as for the communities we are privileged to serve, Mr. Rothman said. So, yeah, he is, telling young men, find a hot babe that you're with, and you can bang her out on camera, and you know stay with her. I mean, you got to keep it spicy in the marriage, right? You got to keep it spicy. I mean, me and my wife did a live stream a few weeks ago talking about like how important is sex in a marriage, right? And how we try to keep it up. Right now we have a little bet going on, because I'm betting that can't she is going to eventually ask me. You get what I'm saying? Like, she's gonna eventually come and ask me, Simon, I need it. And I'm gonna be like, okay, you can get it. But until she says that, I'm not doing nothing. But see, I'm just trying to keep the spark alive. I'm just trying to keep it entertaining. You feel me? I'm trying to keep it, engaging. I want that little chase to be there. You know what I mean? But now eventually I'm probably gonna say, come here, girl. Let me take that thing. But I don't want to be nasty and gross. This isn't about my sex life. It's about these old mother effers. These if you're a professor, you should be able. He's not even a professor. This is the crazy thing. He's a lacrosse coach. He's a lacrosse coach. He could tell the students, yo, this is how I stay fit. I have sex with my wife 6 times a week. 6 times a week for 6 hour marathons, because we're shooting, baby. We're shooting. We got the camera crew, we got the sound guys. They're not cheap, and we got to make sure we get the right takes. Now, come and get this money shot for the 5th time today. So, I mean, the guy is out here working hard. He's a hard-working American, and you get punished. This is the problem, man. You can't do anything in America anymore without getting punished. You can't do OnlyFans without getting punished. You can't you can't bang your wife out on OnlyFans without getting punished. America is insane. There's no freedom. The freest nation in the world. Can't bang your wife on OnlyFans. Gonna continue here. In 2004, the U.S. Supreme Court unanimously decided a case about police officers who had been fired for selling a pornographic video of himself. In the case, City of San Diego versus Roe, the court ruled that the officer's First Amendment right had not been violated. Ooh, wow. The court said that while public employees have a right to speak on matters of public concern, a pornographic video did not fall into that category. Interesting. Interesting. But what's the difference? I mean, what's the difference? You can speak about whatever you want outside of your job, but you can't do whatever you want that's legal outside of your job. I mean, come on. The cop sold a naked picture of him. The cop sold a pornographic video of himself. Okay, who is he hurting? He's not hurting anybody. He's doing some sex work. But I think society will always punish men the hardest for doing sex work, because it's not expected of men to do it. It's like considered taboo and bad for men to do this. You get what I'm saying? Anyway, if Mr. Gao pursued legal action, he would probably have an even tougher road than the police officer in that case, experts said, because courts have often found that public entities have more discretion when removing top officials than rank and file employees. Mary Ann Franks, a professor at George Washington University Law School who studies free speech and other issues, said that Mr. Gao had raised interesting questions about what kinds of expression a university feels obligated to allow. The question has caused consternation and upheaval at colleges and universities across the country, though typically around divisive political issues. Ms. Franks noted that another University of Wisconsin System College said this year that it was unable to take action against a student who had posted a racist video online. Oh God, here we go. See, I didn't even intend to talk about this, but this is crazy. So a teacher who has sex with his wife gets fired, but a student who's out here posting racist videos gets to stay at school. This is insane. I know it's sort of like touch and go, like sometimes because we hear about stories of like students who do racist stuff on campus, and sometimes they get kicked out of school, other times they get to stay. But it should generally be said that even if you're young and 18 and maybe you're drunk or high and say something stupid, like there's no place for anti-black racism. And maybe there can be a intervention, a re-education of this person. I'm not saying that we cast people to the fire, even especially if they're young, for saying certain stupid stuff or doing stupid stuff, right? We all change and develop over time. But I think if you're a young person making racist videos purposely, yeah, you shouldn't be at our campus. You shouldn't be on our campus. By the way, everybody, this is live. So if you're watching right now, leave a like in the comment, leave a question in the chat because we're chopping it up with everybody. I'm talking with everybody right now, and I'm just chilling on live with the people. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. So, whether intentionally or not, he's throwing open the idea that those people who say that they are really committed to free speech and want discussion on every possible topic don't really mean it, Ms. Franks said. Mr. Gao has pushed the issue in the past. During a celebration of free speech in 2018, he invited a corn actress to speak to students about the corn industry. Mm. The University of Wisconsin systems president at the time said Mr. Gao had used poor judgment in inviting the actress, according to a letter published by the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. Sorry, man. Oh, I'm a little gassy. A little gassy. Drinking that bubbly got me living lovely. No, but that's not cool. Let me not do that next time. All right. So, over his nearly 17 years leading the roughly 10,000 student university along the Wisconsin Minnesota border, Mr. Gao grew the school's full time undergraduate enrollment at a time when enrollment at other University of Wisconsin campuses declined significantly. He also oversaw a significant upgrade to campus facilities and emphasized the importance of free speech. Well, that's good. Mr. Gao sounds like a generally like chill guy, and he sounds like a popular teacher. And let's keep it real. Every school had a popular teacher. Every teacher, every school had that teacher who was more like buddy buddy. It might have been like a young teacher. It might have been a teacher who just had that certain swag or that charisma talking to the students. And those teachers are very few and far in between. And when you do meet them, students tend to cling on to them and they tell other students about them and they get other people to want to come to the school, come to the class, pay attention to the lecture and stuff like that. Because the cool teachers are out there. You know what I mean? I try to be a cool teacher. I try to be, but not everybody's going to find you cool. But I've heard people say that I've been a cool teacher before, and cool teachers make people want to come to class. And that's sounds like what Mr. Gao was doing. But also, those cool teachers sometimes are a bit weird. You know what I mean? The cool teacher is a bit weird, and then you find out a few years later, he married the university freshman and cheated on his wife and ran away. I'm telling the true story from a guy who used to live across the street from me when I was growing up. But yeah, so the cool teachers usually are a bit odd. They have a little bit of edge. Maybe they have like a background you didn't know about or something like that, or they end up doing some wild stuff later. But Mr. Gao sounds like one of those guys. And yep, he sort of fell into that archetype, that stereotype, because now Mr. Gao is getting kicked out of his job because he was making corn videos with his decent looking wife. All right. In September, Mr. Gao announced that he was planning to step down from the role of chancellor and return to the faculty. At the time, university officials praised him, and Mr. Gao said that stepping down at that point felt like going out on the top of your game. So, interesting. Interesting. So he's no longer going to be a chancellor. I guess a chancellor is a step above, like a teacher, right? So, okay, seems like he didn't get fired. Either way, he shouldn't have lost his high position as a chancellor just because he does corn. You know what I mean? Nobody cares that he wants to bang his flat booty wife. You know, let him do let him do her, as the saying goes. So yeah, I just thought this story was interesting. Freedom of speech needs to be protected. I don't see people out here fighting for this man's rights. Break out the Bill of Rights, break out the Constitution, and let's defend Mr. Gao. So Harvard president resigns after mounting plagiarism accusations. We're going to continue with the higher ed drama because hopefully I plan to work in higher ed in a few years. It's going to be a long time till I get my PhD. But I hope to get my PhD in sociology one day, become a professor. But who knows? This YouTube channel might get me clapped up. Who knows? Who knows what could happen? If anything, if worse comes to worse, I can always, just continue teaching English because I found a way. Anyway, Harvard president resigns after mounting plagiarism accusations. Claudine Gay faced backlash over the university's response to anti Semitism on campus, which led to increased scrutiny of her academic record. So, Claudine Gay was somebody who I admired from afar because, even though she's of Haitian origin, I remember. Uh, and even though she's, of a alternative orientation than heteronormative. Number one, I don't care about any of those things. But even with all those things where I don't align with her in identity, I still appreciate her as a Black woman who was able to achieve much in a part of American society that has historically been racist. I mean, higher education was like the very first bastion where they codified the ideas of white supremacy in America, and literally many of the Ivy League schools were built on the backs of slaves, literally and figuratively, literally in the sense that slaves worked on laying the foundations of these buildings, and on top of that, the slave trade helped finance a lot of these schools' early endowments. So Claudine Gay achieved something that is very hard to do: become a successful academic at the highest level in America. So I applauded her, but I am disappointed that she, of all people, a very smart and intelligent woman. I am very disappointed that Claudine Gay fell into the same trap that so many other Black intellectuals are falling into, which is caring too much about this Israel Palestine conflict, so much so that it detriments you. How stupid do you have to be? How stupid do you have to be to lose a six-figure job, maybe seven-figure job, over a bunch of people in the Middle East who don't give a damn about Black life? If I was making $99,000 a year and you told me to put up one tweet about Israel or Palestine, I would delete my Twitter. I would never come to a computer again. I wouldn't make any comments at all, not to risk my position over a bunch of people far, far, far away who, as soon as I land in their country, whenever I go and visit Israel, Palestine, whatever, they start calling me all sorts of slaves. All the Black people that live in that country are in ghettos or working in fast food places. I'm supposed to care about these people that much? It's ridiculous. Absolutely a shame. It's a shame so many Black people, so many working class people, so many people that will never even have the chance to leave America, not even go to the places that they're talking about, are over here losing their jobs, their careers, their friends, their family over Israel Palestine. So dumb. It's so dumb. And I'm so disappointed that Claudine Gay, of all people, is now the newest person to fall victim to this self cancellation, to the woke mob inflicting damage on itself, the sacrificial lambs to a stupid ass cause, committing what's it called? What is it called? Seppuku. Yes, self-righteous seppuku. I'm coining that. I'm coining that term. This self-righteous seppuku that these left-wing nuts who are going hard for Palestine are doing is ridiculous, especially if it's black people. And I could harp about this all day. I could literally sit here in this chair for the next 7 hours and just harp about this all day. But I will read the article here because the reason that they're kicking her out is BS. But none of this would have happened had she just shut the F up about Israel Palestine. But yes, black women have to lose their jobs. And now what's going to happen? Some other person, probably from the dominant society, will take back the reins over this again. And now we have to live, I don't know, maybe 100 years until we see another black woman as the head of Harvard, much less a black man. They're not going to let a black woman or a black man become the head of Harvard because who knows, they might be anti-Semitic. A lot of people might read this story and say, yeah, let's give us even more reasons to be anti-Zionist. No, this gives me even more reason to not care. I'm going to read this story here. Claudine Gay came under fire for seeming to equivocate before Congress when asked whether Harvard's policies forbade calling for the genocide of Jewish people. Uh, this was written by Jennifer Schlusser, Anemona Hartog Collis, Michael Levinson, and Alan Binder. Harvard's president, Claudine Gay, announced her resignation on Tuesday after her presidency had become engulfed in crisis over accusations of plagiarism and what some called her insufficient response to anti Semitism on campus after the Hamas led attacks on Israel on October 7th. In announcing she would step down immediately, Dr. Gay, Harvard's first black president, not first black female president, first black president. See, we have to keep it real. The first always gets it the worst, especially when you're black, right? Worst. And he had to be on his P's and Q's and damn near perfect, saintly, godly, or else, we will never have another black president again. Dr. Gay, you messed it up. I'm sorry if, you're not going to hear this. Claudine Gay is not going to hear this. Nobody's going to hear this. Nobody cares about what I have to say, honestly. I got 3 people in the stream that I've been in for an hour or so I can say whatever I want. I can say whatever I want, and I'm going to keep this absolutely real. Dr. Gay, you should have known that what your duty is as the first black of anything is to do it absolutely perfectly. And I know as humans, we are the furthest thing from perfect. We are the furthest thing from godliness and will never truly be what we're supposed to be. You get what I'm saying? I know what that feels like. Nobody's ever perfect. But Dr. Gay, you should have known that going into the hornet's nest, going into battle about Israel, Palestine in front of the U.S. Congress with all these senators who are going to be on your ass as number one, a black woman, and then number two, as a person coming up here tacitly defending pro-Palestinian protests, you knew that they were going to be on your ass. And what comes first? Standing up for Palestine or making sure that you shine in all your black excellence? I guess for a lot of people, it's more about Palestine than actually black excellence. Palestine is more important than black excellence. This is the stupid ass world we live in. I'm going to continue here. In announcing she would step down immediately, Dr. Gay, Harvard's first black president and the second woman to lead the university, ended a turbulent tenure that began last July. She will have shortest stint in office of any Harvard president since its founding in 1637. That's insane. That's insane. She literally got like the job last year. When did she get this? I don't know, man. She's been around. They kicked that woman in and out. You know what they say about black people? Last one's hired, first one fired. And boy, was that true. And all she had to do was just talk up about Gaza and left straight out the door. Straight out the door. Anyway, Alan M. Garber, an economist and physician who is Harvard's provost and chief academic officer, will serve as interim president. Dr. Gay will remain a tenured professor of government and African American studies. Dr. Gay became the second university president to resign in recent weeks after she and the presidents of the University of Pennsylvania and MIT appeared in a December 5th congressional hearing in which they appeared to evade the question of whether students who called for the genocide of Jews should be punished. Penn's president, M. Elizabeth McGill, resigned 4 days after that hearing. Sally Cornbluth, MIT's president, has also faced calls for her resignation. Ain't this a shame? All these very, very prestigious institutions had women as their presidents. Women as their presidents. We were breaking down barriers. We were fighting sexism. We were fighting patriarchy. We were fighting systemic racism. And we gave that all up for Palestine. Yes, yes. Let's have women's rights roll back. Let's have advancement for Black people roll back, all for a bunch of Arabs who hate Black people and want to put women in the cobs. Yes, let's lose everything we fought for a bunch of people. Jesus Christ, this is so dumb. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. I can't wait until like 100 years from now. I can't wait until like 100 years from now when everybody is like, when everybody forgot about all this, by the way, when everybody forgets about all this, when Israel eventually, commits their version of manifest destiny for their territory, when they do their version of claiming a territory as their own and kicking out all the people, like every other country did in the world hundreds of years ago. Not that I think that's okay, but once everybody looks back on that and then they say, hey, what happened to the first Black president of Harvard? Hey, what happened to all those women that were leading these prestigious educational institutions? I hope when we look back on it, we say all in unison, that was dumb. That was hella dumb. That was stupid. That was really stupid. That was really stupid. Um, I'm going to continue here. In a letter announcing her decision, Dr. Gay said that after consulting with members of the university's governing body, the Harvard Corporation, it has become clear that it is in the best interest of Harvard for me to resign so that our community can navigate this moment of extraordinary challenge with a focus on the institution rather than any individual. At the same time, Dr. Gay, 53, defended her academic record and suggested that she was the target of highly personal and racist attacks. Amidst all of this, it has been distressing to have been doubt cast on my commitments to confronting hate and to upholding scholarly rigor, two bedrock values that are fundamental to who I am, and frightening to be subjected to personal attacks and threats fueled by racial animus, she wrote. Last year, the news of Dr. Gay's appointment was widely seen as a breakthrough moment for the university. The daughter of Haitian immigrants and an expert on minority representation and political participation in government, she took office just as the Supreme Court rejected the use of race conscious admissions at Harvard and other universities. She also became a major target of some powerful graduates, like the billionaire investor William A. Ackman, who was concerned about anti Semitism and suggested on social media last month that Harvard had only considered candidates for the presidency who met the DEI office's criteria, referring to diversity, equity, and inclusion. See, Bill Ackman is a racist. Because anytime white people say you're a DEI hire, because this is their new, you're an affirmative action hire, or you're the new token Black in our office, right? And anytime they use that excuse against us, that's just flat out racism. Because what you're saying is that she's not qualified for the job. Everything that she comes down to is her race to you. White people tell us not to worry about race so much, not identify with race so much. Yet when Black excellence is achieved, they say you only got there because of your race. You are a DEI hire. You are an affirmative action case, that sort of stuff. See, we can never win in a white supremacist world except by doing whatever the hell we want. That's the only way we win, by being absolutely free and not scared to live how we want to live. Because nothing we do will ever be acceptable to people who will never accept us at all as people. That's what I'll say to Bill Ackman. Absolutely ashamed. And I actually liked Bill Ackman. When I went through my little Wolf of Wall Street phase, wearing like pinstripe button down shirts with these suspenders that were hella tight and different colors, with my crotch riding up in my little slacks, I used to read guys like Bill Ackman and Warren Buffett and listen to their stupid ass interviews and stuff like that. I was a fan of Bill Ackman. But you know what, Bill? F you. F you, Bill. Bill, you suck. You suck. I'm going to go here. Dr. Gay's resignation came after the latest plagiarism accusations against her were circulated in an unsigned complaint published on Monday in the Washington Free Beacon, a conservative online journal that has led a campaign against Dr. Gay over the past few weeks. The complaint added to about 40 other plagiarism accusations that had already been circulated in the journal. The accusations raised questions about whether Harvard was holding its president to the same academic standards as its students. Lawrence H. Summers, the former U.S. Treasury Secretary, who resigned as Harvard president under pressure in 2006, suggested that Dr. Gay had made the right decision. I admire Claudine Gay for putting Harvard's interests first at what I know must be an agonizingly difficult moment, he said in an email. Representative Virginia Fox, a North Carolina Republican who leads the House committee that is investigating Harvard and other universities, said the inquiry would continue despite Dr. Gay's resignation. There has been a hostile takeover of post secondary education by political activists, woke faculty, and partisan administrators, Ms. Fox said in a statement, adding, the problems at Harvard are much larger than one leader. It's such a shame that the Republicans are like so cucked that they're willing to just be attack dogs for the Zionists who continue to like literally get free money from the government. The Republicans, the conservatives are all about small government, limited government, balance the budget, save money. We can't be spending money crazy. But anytime Israel needs a blank check, they're the first ones on their hands and knees with mouths wide open, letting the dollars fly out and the big Zionist COK hitting the back of their tonsils. Absolutely insane that the Republicans think this way. And this is why anybody who's a Republican or a conservative in 2023, you're a cuck, honestly, because you have to love to get bent over by big Zionist DICK and watch it blow your back out while it continues to siphon away billions of dollars from the American economy. In Israel, they have free universal health care. They have higher education that is much cheaper than it is in the US, all because of the subsidies that America gives to their military. Meanwhile, here in America, we give all of our children's money to the military, which then goes to the defense contractors who then go and sell their weapons to other nations all across the world. Meanwhile, our children can't even get ADHD medicine. We got people dying from polio and stupid Americans that don't even want to take the vaccines. It's so stupid. Americans are so stupid, and most American Republicans, conservatives are stupid cucks. Yeah, I said it. I let it all out. And for this lady, Miss Fox, to attack Claudine Gay. I'm sure Miss Fox has children. Her children will never even be 1/10 as academically achieved as Claudine Gay. Yet and still, she lives in this diluted world where, the higher institutions and all these universities are pushing out this woke, toxic material that's polluting the brains of Americans. All this stupid stuff that these people say. Yet and still, if their children were lucky enough to get into Harvard, get into Penn, get into MIT, they would be shit in a brick. You get what I'm saying? All the great Republican leaders went to like Ivy League schools. George Bush went to like Yale and stuff like that. I think Trump went to Yale too, or Princeton, one of them. I think Ronald Reagan did as well. All the Republican icons and conservative leaders went to these Ivy League schools. Went to these Ivy League schools that are supposed to be the places where there's woke, left-wing, communist, Marxist indoctrination happening in the faculty. Yet and still, what do they produce? What do they produce? More warmongering capitalists that continue to ruin American life and continue to give away billions of dollars to Zionist Israel, to money-hungry Ukraine, and that sort of stuff. We continue to sell weapons to Turkey, sell weapons to Taiwan, and we can't even get good, basic healthcare for American children. Miss Fox is a cuck. Republicans are cucks. Conservatives are cucks. This is not a conservative channel, so I'll say it again. Just bend on over, and let that big Zionist COK just blow your back out. Just let your kidneys fall out, man. Do it until the anus prolapses. I'm going to continue here. So on Harvard's campus, some expressed deep dismay with what they described as a politically motivated campaign against Dr. Gay and higher education more broadly. Hundreds of faculty members had signed public letters asking Harvard's governing board to resist pressure to remove Dr. Gay. This is a terrible moment, said Khalil Gibran Mohammed, a professor of history, race, and public policy at the Harvard Kennedy School. I wonder what Khalil Khalil Jabrin Muhammad thinks about Israel Palestine. I wonder if he has a nuanced take on it. Anyway, Republican congressional leaders have declared war on the independence of colleges and universities, just as Governor DeSantis has done in Florida. They will only be emboldened by Gay's resignation. Some faculty members criticized how the secretive Harvard Corporation has handled the political onslaught and plagiarism allegations. Allison Frank Johnson, a history professor, said she couldn't be more dismayed. Instead of making a decision based on established scholarly principles, we had here a public hounding, she said. Instead of listening to voices of scholars in her fields who could speak to the importance and originality of her research, we heard voices of decision and spite on social media. Instead of following established university procedure, we had a corporation granting access to self appointed advisors and carrying out reviews using mysterious and undisclosed methods. So they're accusing this woman of plagiarism, right? Which is a big no no in academia, but it does happen sometimes because plagiarism in academia isn't just, I took a whole sentence or paragraph from somebody else's book and claimed it was my own. Sometimes plagiarism can be like not citing your sources correctly, or taking an idea and rewording it in a sentence in a certain way, but you still credit the author, but that's not considered accurate or something like that. Like, so many things can be considered plagiarism, and I'm pretty sure, like, up to this point, you know I'm pretty sure most professors, because most professors are people, they've made mistakes with plagiarism. They've made mistakes citing sources and stuff like that. It should be a big no-no, but it shouldn't be the end of somebody's career like this, because how did she make it to this far to the top if plagiarism was such a big problem? They're just looking for an excuse. When you're black at a job and they really want you gone, they will find an excuse. They will always find an excuse for you, and they will pick through everything just to make sure that they are justified in just unjustifyingly making you unhireable. That's a part of life. I've had that happen to me plenty of times. Some jobs I've had where everything was going right, but somebody just didn't like me in the office, and yeah, they just let me go. You're not the right cultural fit, buddy. Had that happen plenty times. I'm gonna continue here. Rumors about problems in Dr. Gay's work had circulated for months on anonymous message boards, but the first widely publicized report came on December 10th, before Harvard's board met to discuss Dr. Gay's future after her disastrous testimony in the congressional hearing. That evening, the conservative activist Christopher Rufo published an essay in his Substack newsletter highlighting what he described as problematic patterns of usage and citation in Dr. Gay's 1997 doctoral dissertation. Shout out to Christopher Rufo for being a total asshole. Christopher Rufo is the same guy who created the hysteria around critical race theory. He just made it up. Christopher Rufo was the guy who put that into the Republican consciousness, and they just ran with it. And since then, Republicans have been turned up on, we got to get rid of critical race theory. Critical race theory is a problem. And Christopher Rufo is that guy. So, F you to Christopher Rufo. He sucks. Going here. The Washington Free Beacon followed with several articles detailing allegations regarding her published scholarly articles and reported two formal complaints submitted to the Research Integrity Office of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences. In a statement on December 12th, saying that Dr. Gay would stay on, the board acknowledged the accusations and said it had been made aware of them in late October. The board said it had conducted an investigation and found a few instances of inadequate citation in two articles, which it said would be corrected. But the infractions, the board said, did not rise to the level of research misconduct. Dr. Gay was already under pressure from what some had said was the university's inadequate response to the October 7th attacks on Israel. After initially remaining silent after student groups wrote an open letter saying that Israel was entirely responsible for the violence, Dr. Gay and other officials released a letter to the university community acknowledging feelings of fear, sadness, anger, and more, after an outcry over what some considered the tepid language. Dr. Gay issued a more forceful statement Dr. Gay issued a more forceful statement condemning Hamas for terrorist atrocities while urging people to use words that illuminate and not inflame. She should have just said, listen, let's just be real. Dr. Gay should have just said, no Israel Palestine protest on campus, period. No flags of foreign nations, none of that. If you want to protest this, off campus. And some people might say, well, that's a violation of freedom of speech and stuff like that. That goes against the ethos of Harvard, freedom to exchange ideas and stuff like that. All that is one thing. All that is one thing. I'll say that. But when we have such a contentious issue that's so controversial and where the act of October 7th was so heinous, as special exemptions need to be made. So we're going to make this executive decision this one time. I'm the president of Harvard, and I'm saying no Israeli, Palestinian, nothing like that on campus. If we see anything like that, we're taking it down. None of it. No expressions. Our university has no comment other than we condemn Hamas. What happened is horrible. Best of luck to both of you. That's it. That's it. That's what I would have done. It makes absolutely no sense to go this far into Israel Palestine. All right, gonna go here. At the congressional hearing, Representative Elise Stefanik, Republican of New York, pelted Dr. Gay and the other university presidents with hypothetical questions. At Harvard, Ms. Stefanik asked Dr. Gay, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rule of bullying and harassment? Yes or no? It can be, depending on the context, Dr. Gay replied. That exchange and a similar back and forth between Ms. Stefanik and Ms. McGill rocketed across social media and infuriated many people with close ties to the universities. All right. Dr. Gay moved to contain the fallout with an apology in an interview that was published in the Harvard Crimson, the campus newspaper. When words amplify distress and pain, I don't know how you could feel anything but regret, she said. 1 week after her testimony, the Harvard's corporation issued a unanimous statement of support after meeting late into the night, saying that it stood firmly behind her. But there were signs that controversy might have harmed Harvard's reputation. The number of students who applied this fall under the university's early action program, giving them the possibility of an admissions decision in December instead of March, fell about 17%, the university said last month. So that goes to show that, this all happened simply because, the university was losing students. They were losing people who wanted to apply. That could have been for a myriad of reasons, but we have to remember that in America, learning is not about, wanting to actually better yourself, deepen your mind, be exposed to new ideas, challenge your beliefs. None of that. It's all business. It's all big business. And if the school is losing students who are going to pay big bucks to go and get the Harvard stamp, then we have to cut this short. We got to get this done. We can't do it. Can't do it. Oh, spilled some of that. Spilled some of that juice on me. Okay. So I just wanted to get all into that story. I thought that was interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments for anybody who cares. Let's go into this other story. So 2024 is starting off with a bang. There's a lot happening out in the world. Real crazy stuff, real heavy stuff. Being a politician is one of the dangerous jobs. I wonder what's more dangerous, being a politician or being a rapper? Because kind of being a politician and a rapper are kind of one and the same, right? I would say so. I would say if you're a politician, it's like you're, of course, in the public eye. You have a lot of power. You definitely have, well, who is more powerful, like Jay-Z or Marjorie Taylor Greene? Hmm. Who has more influence, like J. Cole or AOC? I don't know, because it's not like AOC ever passed a bill, and we only know AOC for viral hits, but we know J. Cole's words. You get what I'm saying? That's why music is so powerful. That's why it's so dangerous. That's why so many like religions, places, so many things, they try to like ban music, in Islam and like Orthodox Islam, for some people, they say like music is haram and you shouldn't be playing music or making music. You know what I mean? I don't know. Who is more powerful, like rappers or politicians? I would say being a rapper is just more dangerous because you don't have security though. But many politicians, if they were dropped off at the right place at the right time, it would that would be their last time, if that makes sense, if you follow what I'm saying. For a lot of rappers though, for a lot of rappers, not so much. A lot of rappers, it would just be annoying. Imagine if you're like Jay-Z and you get dropped off in the middle of like New Orleans. I don't think they're just gonna like straight up rob Jay-Z. You get what I'm saying? They might rob Jay-Z, but I don't think they want to kill Hove. You know what I mean? Like if they drop Jay-Z like in the middle of Houston, like a lot of people would just be like, "Yo, Hove, what's up?" Haha. You know what I mean? Um, I guess it also depends on what type of rapper you are too, because Jay-Z's like a businessman. But if you drop one of these crazy young boys, like NBA young boy, off in the middle of the hood, right? Somebody might have some beef or something because of the King Von stuff, something like that, right? You definitely could not drop. Mm, you definitely could not drop King Von off just like in the middle of Chicago. No, hell no, hell no. But I think you could drop Jay Z off in the middle of Chicago. You could definitely do that, in my opinion. It's just my opinion, though. Oh gosh, I don't have a lighter. I have a lighter on me. I have a lighter. I got papers on me, but I don't have a lighter. Be very interested to know. Hmm. And I got to get my lighter. Oh, hold up. I'm gonna come back and pick this story up. Hold on. Oh, thank you. Anyway, I don't know, man. Mm. Like, who's in more? All right. I'm imagining like, okay, all right. Let's make this scenario. Obama and Lil Wayne get dropped off at different parts of the hood in like Memphis or something like that, right? Okay. All right. I'm playing the scenario out in my head. So Lil Wayne, of course, is probably one of the most famous, most beloved rappers. Obama is like the first black president. Like he's golden in the hood forever. Okay, Obama's walking through the hood. Who's really gonna flex on Obama? Nobody black I think, would touch Obama. Yeah, you might have some dickhead who's like turned up off of some black thought leader he follows on Truth Social or on Instagram or Twitter or something like that, who might yell something at Obama. I don't think anybody's gonna like, and nobody black is gonna touch Obama, but I'm pretty sure some white folks might want to touch Obama. You know what I mean? They wouldn't mind putting two or a few in Obama, right? And I'm not wishing that. I'm just playing the scenario out. Now, let's say Lil Wayne is like dropped off in some hood in Memphis, right? Lil Wayne is walking through the hood in Memphis. He's gonna get mobbed. People are gonna throw like their CDs or try to get like pictures and stuff like that. You know what I mean? People might want autographs. People might want Obama's autograph. Are they gonna? And when the white folks see Lil Wayne, because this is the thing. This is the thing. That sort of violence against black men, the violence that exists in America against black men is not random. You know what I mean? But a lot of white folks in America do violence at random on black men, especially if they're famous and they really don't like. I mean, just look at Martin Luther King, look at Medgar Evers, uh, look at Obama. I mean, he got the most death threats out of any president. So I would say, damn, being a politician is more dangerous than being a rapper. Being a politician is more dangerous than being a rapper because most rappers would generally get by cool. Real beef with the other side who is convinced like they're the devil. You know what I mean? They always need security. But Kanye West be walking outside barefoot with his wife naked, clutching a pillow. So I think he's safe. I don't know. I'm just playing with this idea. Mm. In like a cyberpunk universe, or in the future when we're able to like generate any sort of reality or story that we want with AI. I'm just thinking about this. Like if you were able to like create a story or an idea with AI, I want to see how that would play out in real life in the AI universe. You get what I'm saying? Like I would design it where I would see what would happen if Obama had to walk from one side of Memphis to the other and see how long he would last. Or if everything would just go fine. Or the same thing with Lil Wayne or any other rapper. But my opinion is just generally this. I feel like if you're a politician, the biggest violence that will be against you is towards unwanted, unprovoked, like white supremacist attacks. Like, just let's just keep it real. Because when white folks get mad, I said this at the beginning of the stream. When white folks get mad, they do not forget, and when they feel like their rights are infringed, they turn up. You feel me? So I think, yeah, definitely being a rapper is safe. Because J. Cole is safe, Big Sean is safe, Wale is safe. You know what I mean? Uh, I think so. That's just my opinion. Ozzy jumped into the chat. He said, "What's up?" I'm just playing with this stupid idea. I've been reading articles for like the past 2 hours or so. Now I'm taking a cigarette break before I jump into this next article here. But I'm just thinking about who's more in danger, rappers or politicians? Who's more in danger of like just their life? You know? Yeah, definitely a politician. Definitely a politician. Mm. Just on average too, because most politicians got beef with some other side. Like if you're a rapper, you naturally don't have beef with anybody. You sort of create beefs or beefs come to you. You know what I mean? Like you don't have Nas didn't wake up with beef with Jay-Z, but Putin wakes up with beef with Ukraine. Even if Putin didn't invade, you know what I mean? Even if Putin didn't invade Ukraine, Ukraine and Russia's history has been contentious at best. So Putin would have woken up with beef with Ukraine. Ozzy said, depends on the rapper. I think that's absolutely true. Like, if you're a gangster rapper, of course you're gonna have beef. But if you're naturally like, if you're the king of Saudi Arabia, you naturally have beef with Iran. You get what I'm saying? If you're the president of Yemen, you naturally have beef with Saudi Arabia, even before anything starts. You get what I'm saying? If you're the president of India, you automatically got beef with Pakistan. But if you're Jeezy, you don't naturally have beef with Rick Ross, you know? So you get what I'm saying? Now, somebody's going to say, okay, but if I'm a Chicago rapper from the South Side and my ops are from the West Side, as soon as I start rapping, my ops from the West Side are naturally my enemies. So I guess that makes sense, right? Or if you're even a simpler example, because I don't even know if the South Side and West Side in Chicago beef like that. But if I'm a blood rapper and then I start bubbling, I'm gonna naturally have beef with Crip rappers, right? So I can see that. And that's sort of politics. I mean, that's why they call it gang politics, right? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas, man. Let me take this cigarette break. Let me just chill. I'm just chopping it up. Just chopping up hella late with the people. Mm. Y'all go check out that movie review I did with my wife. It's very cool. Very cool. So I'm gonna read Ozzy's comment right here. Kind of like some prisons with racial politics. That's a very good point, right? That's a very good point. See, it's like that's why politics is naturally beef. Politics is the science of organized beef. You know what I mean? Because they call it prison politics because you have to manage the tension that naturally exists between the Mexican gangs or the black gangs, the Aryan Brotherhood versus the Black Guerrilla family, and that tension will never go away. Actually, once upon a time, there was no tension in the American penitentiary system. During the 60s and 70s, there were radical movements within the prisons. Like prisoners of all races were unified and fighting against the guards under like banners of like socialism and other stuff like that. And then in the 1960s, after this guy named George Jackson led a huge prison riot in the US, then that's when the prison guards in California started dividing people by race and sort of creating the racial animus that exists in the prison system. Then on top of that, drugs got into it with like the Mexican mafia, and they were importing like a lot of marijuana and cocaine into the U.S. And so when big money gets involved and the government gets involved, and it's funny how those two things stay tied together, right? Then that's when we have the racial politics that exists in the U.S. But yeah, politics is just the organization of beef that will never go away, right? Like at this point, Ukraine and Russia permanently got beef, and the politics between those two countries will always be managing that beef to some level that does not lead to more bloodshed, right? And that's going to be the same for whatever happens with Israel Palestine. And damn, when we think about it, the rap game's politics is about the contentious beef that exists between us listeners who really want the real shit, and there's no real shit left. That's all it is, right? That's all it is. Damn. No, rap politics. Oh, this is even deeper. I'm gonna get canceled. YouTube is about to shut my channel off in 3, 2, 1. Rap politics is the contentious beef between black men fighting for resources that the white man throws at us from the table. That's even realer. That's even more real. Think about it. Why are rappers beefing over who sells the most records, or who's or threatening to kill each other on records and stuff like that? It's because they want to be the one who's going to sell the most records so that they can be on the white man's Spotify, the white man's SoundCloud, the white man's YouTube, the white man's Atlantic Records, the white man's uh, Jive Records. Jive is still around, right? The white man's Sony, the white man's Samsung. YouTube is about to shut my channel down in 3, 2, 1. That's just the realest thing. That's even more real. Damn. Damn. I didn't even think about that till now. Still, I would rather be Obama in the hood than Lil Wayne, because I would hate for everybody coming up to me reciting all the lyrics that I said about pussy over the years. I would hate for everybody to come up to me and say, I suck a pussy, fuck a pussy, leave it there. Long hair don't even care. That would be hella annoying. Imagine if your legacy as an artist was just about how many toilet jokes you made about you being the shit and how often you like to eat pussy. Wayne has to live with that. Also, Wayne sold his catalog. I'm really ranting now. I'm turned right now. Does anybody care that the South Korean guy got stabbed in the neck? Ozzy said, "What about Trump in the hood?" That's an interesting question. All right, Trump walks through the hood. I did the thing with Obama, right? Because I thought that was going to be the safest one. Because if we think about it, white people talk a lot online about how Obama was like, he's a wild boy. Like they're saying all these crazy conspiracies about Obama, right? But generally, Obama is the most beloved and revered president we've ever had in our lifetimes and will probably ever have. You get what I'm saying? Donnie Williams jumped into the chat. He did a thumb sign and a piece. Shout out to Donnie Williams. Trump in the hood. I'm imagining, okay, Donald Trump gets dropped off in Memphis, Tennessee, and he's dropped off in the hood. I think Memphis is all right. Memphis is like one of the most dangerous places in America, right? After New Orleans, right? Or DC or Baltimore or damn near America. Anyway, Trump gets dropped off in Memphis. I think the Memph- Mem- Memphians, Memphisans, Memphistanis, Memphikis. Anyway, the Memphis people are like very friendly because it's the South, so they say they're gonna treat Trump like a brother, right? And Trump is like, as much as we bag on Trump, as much as we hate Trump. Let's keep it real. This channel, we hate Trump, but we kind of love Trump because he's like down home folk. Trump is like real America. He eats McDonald's all day. He shits KFC. Uh, he's like he spends millions of dollars like the way most Americans would on golden toilets and sluts from Slovenia. So that's what most Americans would do if they were in Trump's position. So that's why people love him. And I knew Trump was going to win when one time they asked him like a baseball question, and Trump went in for like 15 minutes talking about how much the Yankees were going to beat the shit out of the White Sox or something like that. Like Trump actually like gets America. And they asked that same question to Hillary, and Hillary said something like, "Well, I'm from Brooklyn, but I'm really from Chicago, so I'm like a White Sox fan, but I also love my Dodgers." And it's like, no, no, that's not what we want. That's not what we want when we talk sports. See, Americans are dumb like that. You have to talk to us like real simple. Like that's why this channel got 3 people in the chat, because this is not an American. This is not palatable for the American mind. We're not talking like about Cardi B's fake titty popping. We're talking about real shit across the world, and that's what people like. You get what I'm saying? That's what people don't like. But anyway, Trump gets dropped off in the hood. People would respect it, I think, low key, because there's a lot of black men, unfortunately, who respect Trump's big dick energy for the fact that we know it's really little. We know Trump got little. We know Trump was walking around with the mushroom because the porn star said it in her book. But Trump got a certain aura that people just respect as Americans because he's so bold with it. He's so bold with it. So I think Trump can make it out of the black part of the hood. But the same thing I said about Obama applies for Trump too. The most dangerous thing in America is just random white people doing violence. Timothy McVeigh's, every school shooter. So Trump will be cool with black folks because we've never killed a president. We never bombed schools. We, by and large, don't run up in schools and shoot stuff. So Trump will be cool with us, in my opinion. He could walk through. Somebody might call him a racist. Somebody might call him a jackass. Somebody might, try to snatch the wig off his head. Somebody might say he looks like an orange with legs. Somebody's gonna roast his ass, but nobody's gonna hurt Trump. But Trump has to be scared of the white folks in America. Trump might stumble upon that one crazy white boy who's like, I've been waiting for this moment all my life. And like Phil Collins start playing in his head. He thinks he's in a movie. Everything moves in slow-mo. Bam, bam, bam. We got McKinley again. You get what I'm saying? YouTube's about to take this channel down. 3, 2, 1. No. Trump can make it out the hood. But them white folks, man. White folks, they don't play. They don't play. They would even get Trump. They would even get Trump. I would seriously like to see. I would seriously can't wait until the future where we can generate that sort of like alternate realities with AI. When that happens, that's going to be so dope. Because I'm gonna play out so many scenarios I've always wanted to see. So many scenarios I want to see. Mm, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I've been smoking a cigarette for the past 10 minutes. I'm gonna get to the story though. I'm gonna get to the story, but y'all have to rewind this. You'll have to rewind this stream to see when I talked about the airplane in Japan. 367 people survived that crash. That's crazy. Plane crashes, everybody survives except the other plane that it crashed into. That just sounds like a bad Jerry Seinfeld joke. That sounds like a bad, you know, Ricky Gervais setup. I was praying for their plane to crash, and then the plane that was taken off did. That just sounds bad. You have to see the other story I read about the professor. No, the lacrosse coach who was banging his wife on OnlyFans and got fired from his job and now has to be a teacher because being the lacrosse coach is too respectable to be a corn star while being teaching the next generation of presidents and senators. And you have to see the story that I covered about, Claudine Gay, first black person, not black woman, black person to lead Harvard, and the first black person to leave Harvard because of Palestine. Okay, we're just making great headway, aren't we? Oh man, oh man, what's up? I got to stop smoking for 2024. I'm gonna do it after this cigarette. I'll stop smoking in 2024. They just chilling on the stream with my people. Chilling on the stream with my people. I hate stupid ass Albanian comments. Y'all want to hear a stupid ass Albanian comment? I want to hear one. This is like the 17th one today. Let's read this dumbass comment. So some guy said Etris Pietra 675 1 hour ago said, I don't think you understand. Let me know when you guys understand what the word for black in Arabic and then what's the word for brother. LOL, I'm just saying. Okay, the word for black in Arabic, kala, kala is black. Zanj is also a word that is used widely in the Arab world that relates to black, and it relates to the word for slaves or chains, however you want to describe it. And it is definitely related to the Albanian word for black people, which is Zazak. It's not a coincidence. Both of those words start with Z. This can happen. This is what happens. Etymology of words change over time. And our language ain't the same as Turkey, LMAFAO. I love how the Albanians have such great public education where they are just incapable of understanding that loan words can exist in different languages. I'm sure English is not the first language in many of the countries. I know for a fact English is not the first language in any of the countries I went to recently, but I've been called nigga in every single one of them. Last time I checked, English nigga is not a Turkish word. It's not an Albanian word. It's not a Serbian word. It's not a Hungarian word. Yet and still, loan words can exist. I swear to God, they get dumber and dumber every year, don't they? Don't they, guys? Don't they? But y'all don't hear me though. Y'all don't hear me though. I've been smoking this cig for the past 10 minutes. Mm, I'm just chilling with my dog. Mm. For real though, I feel like 2024 might be a good year. Ozzy said, "Which video did those comments come from?" They're under mostly the yeah, Albania is the most racist country video. And yeah, the Albanians are just like hella dumb. They're just like hella dumb. They're like impossible to actually like get through. Which goes to show that we have a long way to go on teaching uh, anti-white supremacist thinking. We have a long way to go to teach anti-racism because people are incapable of thinking that people are a lot of white people, let's keep it real. A lot of white people are incapable of acknowledging that evil can exist in their own realms. Okay. Yeah, Ozzy said your most popular videos seem to be the Black Sit series. Yeah, I know that. And the Black Sit Hungry video is coming. I know I said that like 2 weeks ago, but I've been waiting for it to snow because I really want to shoot it in the snow. And yeah, they said that it's gonna snow here in Hungary in January. It's January and it's like what 7 degrees outside at nighttime, which is not cool. I really wanted to snow in the video, but I will be doing it. I mean, I just got my visa for Hungary, so I'll be here for some time. I'm in no rush. But I think you guys know how I stand on Hungary. If Hungary was bad, I would have told y'all by now. But it's generally cool. I'm gonna do the Black Sit video too. I just don't want to continue to repeat the whole thing. I just don't want to continue to repeat the same song. You know what I mean? I want to branch off, be seen for other things, be respected for my scholarship, be respected for my takes, be respected for the things that I have to say, the things that I have to share. But it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some innovativeness because sometimes you have to acknowledge what's working and what's not. Uh, Black Sit is Black Sit is something that I like to do, and I will do it. I'll continue to do it. It will happen. It will happen, but no rush. No rush. So Ozzy says drama slash controversy sells. Unfortunately, ain't that something, right? Ain't that something, right? And the thing is, mm, and the thing that's the hardest thing for me to get over, honestly, is that I try not to make incendiary or purposefully controversial videos. I try to do videos that are thoughtful, thought provoking, but also meant to be well informed whenever I do anything. You get what I'm saying? And I don't want to make just clickbait content. I don't want to make just stuff that's gonna get people riled up. I want to make stuff that's actually like meaningful, which is all of my Black Set videos. In fact, every video I've done has been pretty meaningful, except my ab wheel challenge video. That was just a challenge for myself that I did just to see if I could do it, and that's that. But uh when it comes, the thing is, with my content, because of my personality, and I don't think people really grasp my personality yet. People don't really understand that I live my life in a certain way where I am silly, stupid, goofy, can laugh, but also be hella serious about certain things. And because I'm a young black man, people have a stereotype of young black men as not being uh, uh, how can I say, thoughtful or intellectually deep and that sort of stuff. So when they see a young black man who has his bandana on his head or wears like Lacoste tracksuits and dirty J's and stuff like that, they assume that I can't be, what I actually am, which is deep down inside, uh, an old Jewish man. People don't understand this. People don't understand. They can't see deep down in. They don't. You know, when I look in the mirror, I see I see Spinoza. People look at me and see people look at me and see Tupac, and I look in the mirror and see Marx. I see Engels. You get what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's crazy. People don't understand it yet. They won't understand it yet. That people won't really get me until like I'm old. I got like gray in my beard, till I got bags under my eyes, until my nose is hella big and my ears are hella big, because those are the two parts of your body that keep growing until you die. People won't really get me until I'm actually older, because just because of that, they find it hard to imagine that a young black man really enjoys reading the newspaper. They find it hard to believe a young black man actually enjoys reading. This is the thing, because we live in this world where this is considered abnormal. Shouldn't you be playing basketball, nigger? Shouldn't you be rapping, coon? Shouldn't you be doing that? I mean, this is what people expect of me. I used to work at this hotel. I used to work at the Hilton in downtown Miami, and I would get in trouble because I would steal the newspapers. Yes. Oh, I fell into the stereotype. Here goes a black man stealing. Yes. I would steal the newspapers and hide away during my work shift when it was like dead. Like it would be like the 8, how can I say this? From 10 to 11, like towards the end of my shift, nobody's checking in. Like everybody checks in at 5, 6, 2, 3 p.m. Rarely do you have a day where people are like checking in towards the end of your shift. So I would spend the last hour of the day like hid off in like a stairwell reading the New York Times, because they used to have a subscription to the New York Times in the lobby, and I would just like read the whole thing, and I used to love that shit. I used to take them home with me. Had a stack of New York Times, a stack of Wall Street journals, all in my little very hot sweltering Miami apartment. With a leather couch. Who has a leather couch in a Miami apartment with no AC? Me. And all I had was some New York Times, PlayStation 3. PlayStation, yeah, PlayStation. It was a 3 or 4. I forgot. Did I skip the 4? I don't think I ever had a 4. Want that 5 though. We're gonna get the 5, man. I'm gonna go so hard on YouTube this year. I'm gonna get the 5. Mm. Anyway, I found a way to make this profitable to some degree, even with 4 people in the chat, even with videos that get, you know, 40 views. I found a way to make this somewhat of somewhat working for me. Pays utility bills at least. Gets groceries every now and then. So that's the cool thing. I've been on this cigarette for 20 minutes. This is the longest cigarette of all time. I'm gonna stop smoking after this pack. Mm. I'm gonna get to the story. I promise. I got about 3 more. I got about 3 more. I'm gonna jump on it. About 3 more. It's about 3 a.m. over here. Usually hit bed about 5. Knock these out and then pass out. Watch Living Single. Got 2 more subs while I'm on stream. Shout out to the 2 new people that subbed. But y'all got to join the chat, man. Y'all got to chop it up with me. Y'all also got to follow me on Twitter. We're going to be going real hard on Twitter, now known as X. this year. Check out the movie review my wife and I did. Y'all follow us. Y'all can join in those chats too. I'm going to be putting in on my community tab all the movies that we'll be reviewing or stuff like that. And y'all can join that conversation. It's going to be real lit. Y'all got to check out that movie Saltburn. Sorry if we ruined it for you, but it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Y'all rock with me. Mm. It's tobacco, by the way, for anybody from YouTube who's watching. I did a video about why I don't smoke Mary Jane. I made a video about why I don't smoke Mary Jane. Can you believe they like limited the ad revenue from that? That's crazy. That's crazy. It's like they would be happier if I was talking about I do smoke Mary Jane. That's great. It's like you get rewarded in this capitalist world for being a destructive black person. And you get even more rewarded if you're a white person talking about illegal substances online. Because there's a channel on here called LMC. There's a channel on YouTube called LMC, and all they do is make content talking about how the illegal cannabis trade transpired in America. You can make money doing that. You can make money talking about how George Young transported kilos of grass across Mexico in the 60s. But if you come on YouTube as a black person talking about why you don't don't smoke, oh, that's a limited ad. We can't promote that. Can't promote that. Capitalism, baby. America. America. Mm. I'm not being lazy here. I'm just chilling with y'all. I'm chopping it up with y'all. That's crazy. When I was actually doing the knowledge, I was doing the knowledge. Nobody was in the chat. I was building real heavy. Building real heavy. Mm. Don't worry, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it. I know there's somebody watching right now just hoping I pass away. They're hoping got somebody kill this nigga right now. Get him out of here. God, any moment, let that heart fail. Mm. I often wonder sometimes. I often wonder sometimes if like, you know, because black people naturally got high blood pressure, bad hearts and shit. I wonder if that's because you know, like that generational trauma passed down and like you keep that in you and you're always under stress because they say like racism kills, right? I wonder if it's because of that. I don't know. Mm. Hope I get to meet my ancestors one day. I did that live stream that y'all need to check out, both of them, about the ancestors of so many American politicians and British politicians, how they have their direct ancestors, not cousins, whatever. Great great grandfather was a slave owner, and now they're like the king of England or the prime minister of England. I hope I get to meet my ancestors one day when I die, like when I go to heaven and stuff. I get to chop it up with them, build on them real heavy. Because I want to ask them, what did they laugh about on the plantation? Like, what are we laughing about? Because you can't go through life without laughing. So, what was funny to like slaves? What were they cracking up about? Like, did Massa like bend over and rip his pants one time, and that was like the joke for the whole year? That boy, did you see Massa Hill's ass crack? That had to be. That had to be. I just really want to know. Either way. All right, we back to building real heavy. We finished the longest cigarette in the world. All right. South Korean opposition leader is stabbed. Lee Jae-myung, the Democratic Party head, was attacked by a 66-year-old man in the city of Busan. How are you going to be 66 years old and still mad about something? How are you going to be 66 years old and want to crash out like that? Why? The police said, okay, Mr. Lee is now recovering from surgery. Here's the man right here, bleeding in a very Korean way. This is very dramatic. This looks like something in like one of their dramas. I wonder who's got better dramas. They should do like better drama FMK. Korean dramas, Turkish dramas, Mexican telenovelas. Which one's more dramatic? I watched one Korean drama. That shit was hella dramatic, boy. Hella dramatic. I don't know. Either way, this was written yesterday, January 1st, 2024. Let's go. So, Lee Jae-myung, the leader of South Korea's main opposition party, was stabbed in the neck on Tuesday morning by a man who approached him asking for his autograph, the police said. Mr. Lee, 59, the leader of the Liberal Democratic Party, was making his way through a crowd in the port city of Busan when he was attacked, according to the police and live streamed TV footage of the incident. He had just finished taking questions from journalists after touring the site of a planned airport. This is what I'm saying, man. This is what I'm saying, man. Politicians are way, way more in danger than any rapper. So the police in Busan said the assailant, a 66-year-old man, had been detained and was under investigation for a possible charge of attempted murder, but they did not provide details about Mr. Lee's condition or the motives of the attacker, who they said had used a knife with a 5-inch blade. Mr. Lee was bleeding from the neck before being taken away in an ambulance, according to news reports and photos from the scene. He was taken to a hospital in Busan, then flown to Seoul by helicopter for treatment at Seoul National University Hospital. Mr. Lee was conscious and recovering from a 2-hour long surgery to remove blood clots and a patch of a damaged jugular vein in his neck. Kwon Jil-sung, a spokesman for his party, said during a news briefing at the hospital on Tuesday evening. I knew one. All right, when I was living in Miami, there's not a lot of Asian people, but I was fortunate enough to know a South Korean and a North Korean. The North Korean was a girl who was doing stand up comedy, and she actually had 9 fingers. Her thumb was missing. I guess it got caught in the fence. And the South Korean guy was a guy at the office who was like hella thugged out, hella thugged out. Like I ain't know, I've never met an Asian that thugged out. Like, like he was he was pretty G. He was G. I'll just leave it at that. From after having conversations with him and stuff like that, the South Koreans got, you know, a lot of people want to compare themselves to black people. But I think the South Koreans might actually got something. I think the South Koreans are a little bit close, little bit close. Because I mean, let's keep it real. Who fries chicken better than South Koreans? Let's keep it real. And don't nobody say the Colonel Sanders. Don't nobody say Colonel Sanders. Please don't. Please don't. There's only 2 people who I really want to eat their fried chicken. My grandmama and a Korean grandmama. I don't want to. I don't want nobody else's fried. Let me stop because y'all, I don't eat fried chicken no more. I don't eat fried chicken no more. Either way, I'm glad he survived. All these miraculous Asians surviving. That 379 Japanese people survived a plane crash. Man gets stabbed in the neck, survives that. It's amazing. All right. It was a close call because it was not an artery, but a vein that was stabbed. And Chung Gray, a senior member of the Democratic Party, citing doctors. Footage from the attack showed the assailant approaching Mr. Lee through a group of TV camera operators, apparently posing as one of his supporters. He was wearing what appeared to be a paper or plastic crown bearing the words, "I am Lee Jae-myung." Supporters and police officers overpowered the man after the stabbing and took him to a police car. Interesting. If this was America, he would have got his top blown off. But thank God that Korea has sensible gun laws. I'm not going to do my gun spiel. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to care about other Americans not blowing their heads off, especially the presidents and stuff like that. But I don't think any other country has had more presidents assassinated than us. Seriously, I think we got 6 bodies. We got 6 whole bodies, and Reagan almost got his body dropped. You get what I'm saying? Uh, if there's another country that has had more presidents assassinated, let me know, please, because I think we're top of the list. Maybe a place like, I don't know, El Salvador might come in, but I even doubt it. I doubt it. I think we're top of the list with presidents who got that thing clapped up. Anyway, the man approached Mr. Lee asking for his autograph in a loud voice. Son Jaehan, a senior investigator with the Busan police, told reporters at a news briefing. Mr. Lee was narrowly defeated by Yoon Suk Yeol, a conservative, in South Korea's last presidential election in 2022. He has since been subjected to a series of investigations by state prosecutors on corruption and other criminal charges. So the guy lost the election. So why you got beef with him? Why would you stab the loser? You get what I'm saying? Let him wallow in his loss. But the guy who is now the president of Korea is being investigated for corruption, which is not new in Korea because I believe their female president got arrested for corruption. I think she's in jail right now. So this is nothing new. He denied all the charges against him and went on a 3-week hunger strike last year in protest, accusing Mr. Yoon of using, oh, okay. Oh, so the Democratic leader, the guy who got stabbed, has been investigated for corruption. Okay. So then he went on a hunger strike because he believes the current president is persecuting him. Okay. Mr. Yoon, the guy who got stabbed accused Mr. Yoon of using the criminal justice system to intimidate his political opponents. A court refused to allow prosecutors to arrest Mr. Lee, but he faces the prospect of a series of trials. Mr. Yoon expressed deep concern about Mr. Lee's safety on Tuesday, ordering his government to carry out a quick investigation of the attack and to provide support for his medical treatment, the president's office said in a statement. The president emphasized that this form of violence should not be tolerated under any circumstances in our society, the statement said. South Koreans are sharply divided over Mr. Lee, who is widely expected to run for president again in 2027. His progressive supporters consider him a plain talking champion for the poor and for social minorities, while his conservative detractors call him a corrupt populist. The country's politics have become increasingly polarized in recent years, and rancor between Mr. Yoon's supporters and Mr. Lee's has been rising with the approach of parliamentary elections in April. Okay, interesting. But physical attacks on politicians have been uncommon. In 2006, the conservative politician Park Geun-hye, then an opposition leader, was slashed in the face with a box cutter by a man who had been a vehement critic of her. Wow, he slashed a woman. That's crazy. How do you give a woman a buck 50? That's insane. That's next level. That's really grimy. That's hella grimy. That's Korea's starting to sound like New York in the 70s. Ms. Park went on to win the 2012 presidential election. In 2015, a self styled nationalist who had expressed anti American sentiments cut the face of Mark W. Lippert, then the United States ambassador to South Korea, with a kitchen knife. Oh my God, Korea's wow. They're slashing U.S. diplomats. They're slashing people in the face. They're going hard body. Oh my God, what's happening here? Okay, the Democratic Party considers the stabbing of Mr. Lee an act of terror and an act and an attack against democracy, said Mr. Kwon, the party spokesman. Yoon Hee, dangerous life, politicians or rappers. I think this picture here sums it up. This is all we need to see. I ain't see little baby like this in 2024. Little baby didn't start the year off like this. All right. Let's see. Where are we now? So, tracking efforts to remove Trump from the 2024 ballots. Okay. So, this is an interesting story. This is interesting. So, right now we're gearing up for the election, which honestly feels like it's going to happen next year. I don't know, man. I know we're going to pick a new president like in what, November this year, but it doesn't feel like it. I feel like the Biden administration kind of flew past. I don't know. Maybe it's because I've been abroad and I've been living a fast life a bit. Years kind of fly by and stuff like that. The older you get, the time flies by much quicker, and memories seem to fade into one big blob. But I feel like the Biden administration just started yesterday, low key, and it's crazy that we're about to have that rematch between Trump and Biden. And it's crazy how the Republican primary is full of people willing to fillet the giant, no, fillet the microscopic penis of Trump just to be his running mate. uh, you want to run for president, but you're too scared to attack the main guy ahead of the polls. Where they do that at? I mean, either way, as we all know, Trump got kicked off of the Colorado ballot. He's also removed from the main primary ballot as well. So, that means, hypothetically, if I understand that right, that means that another candidate, Republican candidate, has to be the nominee from those states, which makes it very weird. So it's not like Trump can't win. It's just like he's there's like another Republican challenger might try to split the Republican vote if more states pick this up, where they exclude Trump from the ballot, but others keep him on. So hypothetically, let's say Trump gets taken off the ballot in Nevada, Oregon, who knows? Wisconsin, who knows? He might get taken off of the ballot in, I don't know, a lot of these states, maybe in Hawaii. I don't know if Hawaii is here. No, nothing's in Hawaii. He's going to stay on the Trump is going to stay on the ballot in Texas, Louisiana, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, West Virginia, right? But if he's taken off the ballot in like New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and stuff like that, another Republican might jump in and say, well, why not? I know I'll lose because I'll definitely won't carry those states, but I can at least show that I can pick up substantial votes if people have an alternative to Trump. So I think it will be a dick move for a Republican to make. If DeSantis really wanted to do that, or if Nikki Haley really wanted to do that, that would be a great way to like build their political clout. But they would be hated by the Republican like voter base. Like they would call them all sorts of traitors. There will be like assassination attempts on their life. Like it will get really nasty and ugly on the conservative side, which we love. Oh yes, we love it. We love it when they start infighting. We love it when the inbred start infighting. But I don't know, man. This is a crazy situation. Obviously, Trump should not even be allowed to be free in our society because he's a walking menace. He did an insurrection, bro. Like he literally tried to take over the U.S. government. Like he was only a hallway away from having like a coup d'état, and we could be living in an alternate timeline. If it weren't for a few good black men, America would not have a democracy right now. Like if it wasn't for the black man who had those white supremacists chase him down the other hallway instead of going down the hallway to the Senate chambers, because the stupid ass conservatives who broke into the Capitol couldn't even read the signs that say this way to the Senate chambers. Dumbass. And if it wasn't for the black man that shot that crazy white woman who tried to break the glass into the Senate floor and and made that woman see her maker, if it wasn't for two good black men, America would not have a democracy right now. And just the very fact that Trump is walking around free as a convicted rapist. Yep, this video will not get demonetized, but we cannot forget that Trump is a convicted rapist, bro. He is convicted of rape. Seriously, it does this not show white privilege and white supremacy in our society today? Can you imagine a black man walking around freely in American society after being convicted of RAPE, rape? A black man walking around convicted of rape saying, "I'm going to be your next president." Can you imagine that? Can you imagine? The day that happens, I will never talk about racism again, especially if that man wins. If there is a black man even accused of rape in America talking about he's going to be president, and yet he has a fighting chance, I will never talk. That's how we know we have beat white supremacy and racism. But Trump is a convicted rapist who tried to overthrow the U.S. government, stole secret documents. Like, Jesus Christ, he's a thug. He's a criminal. He's a low life. Jesus Christ, how is Trump still out here? And the states, some of the states are actually acknowledging it. Like, if it might get so bad, Trump might get kicked off the ballot in New Mexico. That's how you know. That's how you know you lost the plot. That's how you know you lost the plot. And there's some people who are going to say, "Oh, this is a this is a plot by the Democrats. This is a plot by the Democrats to rig the election." It ain't a plot when you follow the law. It's not a plot when you follow the law, bro. The law says if you try to overthrow the government, you cannot hold public office. I believe that's the 14th Amendment. When people tried to overthrow the US government about 150 years ago or so because they wanted to own slaves, the US government passed a law in the Constitution that said anybody who did that cannot hold public office. And that's just been the law. And nobody had a problem with that. We were all cool with that, right? Can everybody agree that, all the criticisms we have of America that, you know, at the very least, if you try to overthrow the government, you shouldn't be in the government? No? I guess that's too crazy. Ozzy just left a comment. Ozzy said, "Facts, how is Trump even allowed to run again?" I don't know. America makes no sense. America makes no sense. I'm an American and I can say this. We're pretty damn stupid. We're pretty damn stupid and we just don't learn our lessons. And we think blonde haired, blue eyed white men who are 6'4" can do no wrong. If you're a blonde haired, blue eyed white man, you can rape women. You can try to overthrow the government and you can still have a fighting chance of being president. And you will have black people on the internet saying that they love you. That's how big white supremacy is. That's how crazy this. Anyway, I'm sorry I'm ranting. Let's jump here. So, tracking efforts to remove Trump from the 2024 ballots. This was published on January 2nd, 2024. Let's go here. So, formal challenges to Donald J. Trump's presidential candidacy have been filed in at least 33 states, according to a New York Times review of court records and other documents. Mr. Trump was disqualified from the primary ballot in Colorado and Maine pending appeals, but many other challenges have been dismissed or have not progressed in court. Beyond Colorado and Maine, at least 17 states have unresolved challenges. The ballot challenges focus on whether Mr. Trump's effort to overturn his 2020 election defeat make him ineligible to hold the presidency again. Those cases are based on an obscure and largely untested clause of a constitutional amendment enacted after the Civil War that disqualifies government officials who engaged in insurrection or rebellion from holding office. It's very clear as day. You try to overthrow it, you can't be in it. You can't try to cancel the party and then be mad when you're not invited to the party. Why doesn't anybody like I need to work as a marketing consultant for the Democrats or anybody who'll pay me. I'll work for the Republicans too. F it. I don't care. Just send that check and we'll get to work. But seriously, Trump, how you going to try to overthrow the damn party and you still want to be invited? And why would people still want to invite you in the party? You ruined it. You took a shit in the punch bowl last time. You took a shit in the punch bowl and you're mad that people are saying that you can't be invited to hang out with us uh, for senior prom. Trump, oh Trump. What type of kid was he in high school, man? Trump had to be like the wannabe popular kid. Like the wannabe popular kid who had to just like oversell himself just to make it, just to have friends, bro. Anyway, the Colorado Supreme Court and Maine Secretary of State, a Democrat, both found Mr. Trump ineligible under that provision. Mr. Trump, who is leading judges, have dismissed cases at the request of Mr. Trump or the request of the person who filed the challenges. The Michigan and Minnesota Supreme Courts have both said Mr. Trump is eligible to appear on the primary ballot in those states. Oh, status of challenges in each state. So, Alaska, decision pending, but we all know he's going to get Alaska. Alaska always goes red. Arizona, decision pending. That's interesting because I think Arizona swung blue in the last election. Arizona is also very diverse, starting to become kind of black. A lot of black people are out there moving in the desert in Phoenix and stuff like that. That's not cool, by the way. Y'all need to get out of the desert. If you're living in the desert in Arizona, what the hell are you doing? Get out of there. Anyway, California, decision pending. I think that might happen. I think they might take him off the ballot in California. Colorado, disqualified. Decision appeal, disqualified. Get your ass out of here, boy. All right. Connecticut, challenge, dismissed, or rejected. Okay. So in Connecticut, he will be on the ballot. Uh, Delaware, challenge dismissed or rejected. So he will be on the ballot in Delaware. Florida, decision pending. He's going to be on the ballot in Florida. Challenge dismissed or rejected in Idaho, so he will be on the ballot there. Kansas, challenge dismissed or rejected. He will be on the ballot there. Louisiana, decision pending. Of course, he's going to be on the ballot in Louisiana. Of course. Of course. Maine, Trump disqualified, decision appeal. Get your ass out of here, boy. Massachusetts, challenge dismissed or rejected, so he'll be on the ballot in Massachusetts. Michigan, challenge dismissed or rejected. Minnesota, same. Montana, the same. Nevada, decision pending. New Hampshire, decision pending. New Jersey, challenge dismissed or rejected. He'll be on the ballot in New Jersey. New Mexico, decision pending. Same with New York and North Carolina. Oklahoma, challenge dismissed or rejected. Oregon, decision pending. Pennsylvania, challenge dismissed. Same with Rhode Island. South Carolina, decision pending. Texas, decision pending, et cetera, et cetera. You get the idea. But where's Hawaii? You know Hawaii? I want to know. They could take them off the ballot in Hawaii. What about Guam? What about Puerto Rico? Wait, those places can't vote. They're colonies. Anyway, anyway, I find this very interesting. Looking forward to those Trump Biden debates. I know Trump has not been debating because he's too busy going to court for felonies because he's a thug. He's everything that white folks say about black folks. He's a thug. He's a criminal. He's got a rap sheet long as the Bible. Look at this man. He's bad. Trump is bad, but I can't wait for those debates because they're gonna be hilarious. Because if Trump don't come with some top tier, if Trump doesn't come with the upper echelon, the the blue diamond, if Trump doesn't come with some flat out haymakers for Biden after all of Biden's like sleepy antics, slipping down the stairs, forgetting his name, all the crazy stuff that Joe Biden has done over the past few years. If Trump don't come with some haymakers, uh, to just like get this guy out the paint, then I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Trump has to make me laugh at the debates, and I can't wait for the debates. They're gonna be top notch content. Top notch. Ozzy said Biden's running again. Boy, Ozzy, where have you been? Yes, he's running again. He should not run again, but it's the safest thing to do, honestly. Honestly, I mean, I don't know. Before Israel Palestine popped off, I thought Biden winning was like a sure bet because he forgave a lot of student loan debt. Uh, Generally, the economy has been good. Inflation has been like a B, but other than that, everything was going pretty good for Biden. The economy was strong, unemployment was low. Israel Palestine, though, is just one of those hot button culture war things that the left is going to find themselves really kicking themselves in the butt about because a lot of people on the left who, young people and stuff, they're not rocking with Biden's like, pro Zionist by any means necessary. You know, Biden is like Malcolm Z, and Z being Zionist. Any means necessary, he will give Israel all they need to do what they're going to do, right? And a lot of young people aren't feeling that. A lot of Arab Americans definitely aren't feeling that. And Trump is going to be no different. They're going to say, how can I seriously vote for Biden knowing that blood is on this man's hands? You get what I'm saying? So it's dicey. It's dicey for me. It depends because if Netanyahu continues to go as hard, and news reports came out where Netanyahu said, you know what, flat out, we want everybody out of Gaza. Nobody will be in Gaza. We want all the Palestinians out of Gaza. So he's on that path. And if this carnage continues for the next few months leading into the election, I don't think it's looking good for Biden, low key, because I think the Democrats are underestimating how seriously people care about Israel Palestine. I mean, this is the largest global protest around the world about Israel Palestine. People are like losing their jobs about it. So now people got nothing else to do. They got nothing else to do but bitch about it now. So it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. I think with Trump, what he has working in his advantage going into the election is that his base is fired up. Like the people who love Trump are really going to go hard for Trump, and they're going to be out there voting crazy. Some of them are even going to cheat and steal because all the people who got caught for voter election fraud have been like mostly Republicans and conservatives who are trying to double vote to make sure Trump wins and stuff like that. Uh, so yeah, I think Trump's got a lot of energy around him. There's also a bit of nostalgia for like the crazy Trump days. So maybe people want some of that as well. And plus some black people got dumbass talking points. Like the hood was eating under Trump, bruh. When the drought when Trump was around, all that stupid shit niggas like to say. So Avery Adams says late night grinding. Man, I'm just chilling. I'm just talking shit. I'm just talking shit, Avery. Shout out to Avery. But Ozzy said, so do people vote third party or just stay home? I think honestly, man, honestly, if you really don't like Biden, which I can understand people not liking Biden, right? People might not like Biden for a number of reasons, right? It might be Israel Palestine. It might be because he's too old, which is I totally understandable. If somebody said the reason I don't like Biden is simply because he's too old, I get that. That makes sense to me. That makes sense to me because we should not have a gerontocracy. A gerontocracy is a society ruled by old people. We don't need that. Okay. And that includes Trump as well, because he's old as hell too. But people just for, like to look at Biden because he's sleepy, falling asleep literally in the press conference, forgetting his name. Biden don't know where he is. Biden just he's just he's just an odd fellow, ain't he? But people might not like Biden for a lot of reasons. I think honestly, if you don't like Biden, vote for Cornel West. Just give that vote to Cornel West. Because let's just go full crazy. Because this is the thing, right? The right had their crazy with Donald Trump. And to some extent, they had their crazy with George Bush. George Bush was crazy. We just forget about George Bush. George Bush didn't know nothing. C student ass. You know what I mean? George Bush was crazy and Trump was crazy. So why don't we as the left get a crazy person? Not Kanye West, Cornel West. We have crazy smart niggas on the left. You get what I'm saying? We got our I am a Trump supporter. Avery Adams is a Trump supporter. We are not surprised. Listen, Avery, if you're gonna rock with Trump, go ahead, man. I don't. I just he's a criminal, man. He's a rapist. He's a rapist, bro. He's charged with rape. He might be going to jail for stealing government documents. He's just a bad dude, man. Bad dude. Very interested to hear why Avery likes Trump. I don't care, but I think if you don't like Biden, vote for Cornel West. Vote for Cornel West at least. Because honestly, I would vote for Cornel West, low key. I would vote with my conscience. I used to think that, pick the lesser of two evils that's most likely. Uh you only pick the lesser of two evils if you're in a swing state. So if you're in Florida, if you're in Virginia, if you're in Wisconsin, if you're in Michigan, if you're in Nevada, Pennsylvania, you're picking the lesser of two evils. Like I was living in Florida, so I voted for Hillary. Cause like Florida can go either way, and every vote counts in Florida. But if I was in Louisiana, I'm voting for Jill Stein. I'm voting for Ralph Nader. I'm voting for Mickey Mouse. I'm not picking, you know, Trump or Hillary. If I had to put a gun to my, if you had to put a gun to my head, I would pick Cornel West, honestly, as the president. For me, you get what I'm saying? Avery said, I think they all bad, honestly, but I think he benefits my family and my lifestyle. That's the only reason I would vote for him. It's for like, people making a certain dollar amount. You know what I mean? But I just feel like he's a dangerous man. I feel like the president has to be like somebody your kids got to look up to. I I wish, you know what I mean. I wish back in the day, I remember once I asked my mom, "Can I be president?" And my mom said, "Okay, if you want to be president, you can't drink." And I said, This is how young I was. I said, "Mom, the president doesn't drink water." He said, "No, the president doesn't drink alcohol." Oh, we know that's not true because like all the presidents were like hella alcoholics. I think like Nixon was getting drunk every night in the office. Lyndon B. Johnson would walk around the office like flashing people his dick drunk. You know what I mean? Like a lot of presidents are nasty alcoholics, but you know my mom is an immigrant, so she has that perception. She had that perception. I don't know if she still does, but she had that perception that the honorable men were leading our country. You know what I mean? So she was telling me like, if you want to be president, you have to be a good person. You have to be like a good moral person. And like I remember being in elementary school when they would tell us stories about the president. George Washington never told a no. Abraham Lincoln never told a lie. George Washington cut down the apple cherry tree. He was in trouble, but he told the truth to his father. Stuff like that. Benjamin Franklin was a gentleman and a scholar. And even though Benjamin Franklin wasn't the president, but you get the idea. Like, I feel like the president should be a person you can actually say, I want my son or daughter to be like that. And like the last president that we had that was like that was Obama, low key. Now you can criticize Obama, but nobody can discount Obama's bona fides as like a good man, not a good black man, not a good American. Like, Obama comes across like a good man. Like, you would want your son to turn out like Obama. You get what I'm saying? I would not want my son at all to even know somebody like Trump. You know what I mean? You know how your mama used to say, don't hang out with them badass kids? Like, Trump is one of them badass kids in the neighborhood, your mama would say, do not hang out with. That's my opinion. Ba, 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 ba. I wish you didn't. All right. Which state are you in? Avery says he lives in Maryland. Okay. You know what's interesting, man? I've been looking at Baltimore and also Annapolis. So Avery, tell us what it's like if you're in Maryland. Like, let us know what's better, Baltimore or Annapolis. And also, do people in Maryland really say "do"? I got. Do you guys really run around saying I got two friends? Like, what is that? What is that Baltimore accent? That shit is insane. And also the dummy. Y'all be saying you two dummies. Like, what is that? And do y'all really be saying earn? Earn went to the earn and got a earn. Earn got a earn by the earn. Y'all really be talking like that? Avery, let us know, man. Because that Maryland accent is hilarious. That Baltimore accent. You think Jada Pinkett be talking about, you think Jada Pinkett tell Will Smith, I got two boyfriends. Jada Pinkett be telling niggas, I got two side niggas. I'm sorry. Let me jump into the comments. Ozzy said, "Oh, okay, your vote doesn't matter." LOL. Avery. Ozzy talking spicy. Ozzy talking spicy. Um, Maryland is not a swing state. Now, Maryland go pretty Democrat. Um, Man, honestly, well, who knows? I mean, vote how you want to. I wish we can all just vote on policies 4 times a year. That would be better. Like, if we could vote on like legalizing like marijuana, fixing the immigration stuff. You know what I mean? If we had a sensible way to deal with immigration. Uh, what else? I don't know. Yeah, we should vote on policies every 4 years and make people put out the policies. I know I don't vote. Avery said, I know I don't vote anyway. Boy, you a funny dude. If everyone was in a state like Georgia, I'd be pissed. LOL. That's funny. Ozzy's talking crazy, but Ozzy, Ozzy, I don't even know if you get the electoral college system because you asked earlier, is Biden running? So I'm wondering, Ozzy, if you even, if you even know. Do you know what you're talking about, Ozzy? Ozzy, I think you're like from the UK. Don't y'all like vote every 4 years by like Gandalf coming down with the ring and like selecting who lives and dies? Like, ain't that how y'all vote in the UK? Doesn't like, don't y'all select like the best student from Hogwarts every 4 years in the UK? Like, ain't that how it work? I don't know. Uh, Either way, it's been pretty funny. I kind of want answers to my questions, but everybody's all quiet right now. I really wanted to know if in Baltimore y'all were talking about do, but I'll leave that alone. I've been on this thing too long for too long and too strong. So, all right. Well, this is just I don't know what I was doing here. This is a trash stream. This is a trash stream. I'm gonna title this trash stream number one. Acty said everybody quiet because I roasted everyone. That's pretty funny. Anyway, this was a pretty fun trashy stream, hella trashy stream. This is Trash Stream number one. I'm gonna have better content coming out this year. I just kind of felt compelled to hop on and talk to everybody. Talk about some stories, talk about the news for today. But cheers to all of you. Go check out me and Acty's movie review that we posted today. Go check out other live streams I dropped. Go check out my back catalog. New stuff coming in 2023. Might be doing a workout video this year. 300 push-ups every day. See what happens. See how big my titties get. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, y'all be easy. Peace.